Hey guys, welcome back to New York Comic Con. I'm Justin Tyler.
I'm Grace Randolph.
We are here in the Newsarama Skybox with DARYL FREIMARK and Dave Parkin from The Devil's Due in Dreary.
Yeah, you guys are jumping on the craze of Hollywood's interest in comics.
Yes.
Right?
They are the craze.
We like to think
we created it ourselves.
Yeah.
So the graphic novel just came out basically right here at the show.
Yeah, it comes out in stores in about 2 weeks, so we're kind of debuting it here.
Smart
And it's
moves.
from Arcana.
It's
right?
from Arcana, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how did you hook up with them?
Oh, that's a long road. We started work on this independently. We raised some money through Kickstarter to pay for the art through 2 successful campaigns.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Kickstarter.
Yeah, and we started out and we printed the first 4 issues through Arden, and then we were looking for a change-up, and we went to a few different places, and Arcana was the one that we thought fit the best with us, and we love those guys over there, and they're very accommodating. And
yeah, it was they were super supportive of the idea of just coming in. The book was ready to go out, and really just stepping in as our publisher and helping to facilitate that. So
it is a lot easier to get something done when the art's already done.
Turns out.
we were like,
yeah.
so what do we need to do? We're like, just publish.
If we had to build this camera before we could do an interview, it would have taken a lot more.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Tell us about the book, the premise of the book.
It's about a small desert town that has kind of cut itself off from society, and it's run by this preacher who kind of rules with an iron fist, and he preaches this prophecy that on the 3rd day till spring, in any given year, 2 outlaws are going to show up, and after that follows the apocalypse. And so these 2 guys roll into town, these 2 poor dudes, and of course everybody flips out, and it basically takes place over the next 24 hours, where they believe come sunup the next day either this is going to happen or it's not, and you watch the town kind of tear itself apart through paranoia, and come sunup we find out who's right and who's dead.
Well, what's the genre? Is it like a Western? Is it?
It's a Western in feel. I kind of I call it a rockabilly Western. We replace the horses with classic cars, and it takes place kind of in that era, and but Western as in two strangers roll into this town, and we see where it goes, and it also has a bit of a Twilight Zone twist kind of.
Now this had a sort of a slightly different path than a lot of books that are going to become movies. You wrote the first draft of the screenplay first, then the comic, and now you're back rewriting the screenplay to take it out.
Yeah, it started out as a screenplay, and that's when DARYL picked it up as a producer.
We actually met at IFP, Independent Film Project.
Oh, wow.
They have a film week every year in September, and I was a script consultant in 2008. We've been working on this for 5 years.
Yeah, I recall that.
And we met, and I read the script, and I loved it, and Dave and I said, oh, this is great, let's go make a movie. Well, what's a good first step? And we're like, let's create an audience and build the comic first and see how it goes. And what we found is that not only is it awesome to build an audience this way, but it also kind of storyboards the movie.
Yeah.
One of the...
We're all about early first steps, right?
Sure.
You're like, it's already storyboarded, it's already art.
Exactly. We just make it easy. Now we can just walk into a studio and be like, hey, look, it's storyboarded. Here's the movie now.
Film this.
But one of the actually really interesting things we learned when we were making the comic, Dave was writing the first issue of the comic, and the beginning of a movie often has a lot of exposition at the beginning. To say beginning twice. And so he wrote the first issue of the comic, and our editor, Brendan Deneen, said, there needs to be more action up front. It's a comic. People get to page 6, there's been no action. They're going to close the book. So Dave came up with these 2, what I think are really brilliant scenes in the beginning of the book, and to introduce us to 2 of our main characters. And they work great, and we were like, wait a second, we don't have to have exposition at the beginning of the movie. We should start the movie with action, too.
People like movies to have an
Yeah.
exciting beginning as well.
After 6 minutes,
Hey,
look
I got
it
an
up.
idea. Let's make the movie like that. Yeah, that's right. That's one thing that we really learned is not only that, when you're making a comic book, every page adds on to how much it's going to cost, and so we had so many pages to fit the story into. So that way I had to kind of reformat the story to fit, and when you do that, all of a sudden the story starts getting tighter and it gets better. And so we, in writing the book, I learned a lot about the story as well, and I think it made the story better, and it made the comic better, and I've been a comic book fan my whole life, and so to be on that other side of it for the first time was great. Really a dream come true. It was a lot of fun.
And so now you're doubling back on the script and taking these changes from the book and making the script better.
Yeah, and then we're even, every time you rewrite something, you learn something new. So even, further changes are happening, and that's what we like about it. It's a process.
So the best way to write a screenplay is to spend 5 years making a comic book.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's how you make it in Hollywood, guys.
Yeah, I would absolutely recommend it if it's at all possible. But unfortunately, I wish everything I wrote would be a comic book first. It'd be a lot easier. But
Well, I think
it's a lot of work.
I think it's great that you had people involved in the comic book. Will you keep people involved like with the movie process?
Yeah, we actually launched a website about maybe it's 2 months now. TheDevilIsDoingDreary.com. Not too hard to
Very
remember.
simple.
Smart.
Very simple.
Smart.
We were amazed that domain name was still available.
Yeah.
And we have a guy in marketing, Kelly Vandillo, who at this point is blogging every day about the comic and New York Comic Con. And as we start to move into the movie, the plan would be for him to continue to update along the way.
That's very smart.
So, yeah,
That's
awesome.
Social media is becoming huge in these literary stuff and movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Will you do any more comic book work?
I would love to. That's the goal. We'll see. We were actually just discussing the process of the next, and we learned a lot about the business doing this.
Yeah,
of
well,
course.
especially publishing yourself. Getting it together yourself is different.
And this day and age, we're actually learning, that all of the trip ups we had on the way here, we're learning that maybe the way the comic book industry is going, that it's kind of the way the music industry is going. That self-publishing is kind of the way to go, and it's heading into that way, and it's definitely not as hard as it used to be, which is great, especially when it comes to the boost in popularity of comic book conventions and things like that.
And digital comics are such a great way to get started.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. We went on comics. We are available on Comixology. The individual issues and the trade will be available, I think, next week. And I've been getting random emails, people being like, "Oh wow, that book that you've always talked about," or "I've seen things on Facebook about."
I usually don't
see it on
believe a word you say,
Yes.
and it turns out it's real.
There it is.
And it's real because it's digital, not real because it's actually a book.
Yeah. If it's online, it's real.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I live my entire life there. Well, awesome. Thanks for seeing and talking to us, and we look forward to seeing the movie in 25 years.
Read the comic first.
Yes.
Hopefully 24, 25 years.
Great.
Yeah, please, come to the website, get your copy of it. If you're around on Saturday night, tonight from 7 to 10, we're having a party at Scallywags over on 9th Avenue.
Yes, indeed.
So come on by, have a beer, and get a signed copy of the comic.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for talking to us, guys. And you guys stay tuned for plenty more from New York Comic Con.